Guys, I've been sick. I've been ill for the past week. And then I was traveling the week before that. So that's why you've not been seeing me. But that's not an excuse, and I'll cover why it's not an excuse because it's part of the video, which is 5 things that I've learned as a new creator. So there's probably video number 14, 15, something like that. So the first thing I've learned is that you should have a content bank. What I mean by content bank is videos that you've already pre-recorded, set up, edited, and they can just be scheduled, and they can cover you in times where you can't actually film on the day for that day, which is what would have covered me the past 2 weeks had I done that. So I've been sticking to a schedule of uploads on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, but I've been filming for those days, like filming for those videos on the day. And that's meant that on the days where I've not been able to record, there's no video. So very simple. You got to treat content like inventory, the same way a shopkeeper will have, you know, the stuff stocked on the aisles, but then when it's out, then they can just go to the back and bring some more out. They won't just leave the aisles empty. Well, they shouldn't anyway if they're a good shopkeeper. But yeah, having some inventory to cover you when you can't make videos on that day is the key to having consistent uploads. The second is that unscripted videos with your spoken voice, so like your own voice, that's the most sustainable style of content for the long term because it reduces the friction to making content. So all you really need is just a few bullet points on a paper and a camera setup, and you can make content. Whereas if you make scripted videos, that takes time other than shooting because you've got to then write it up and script it out. The actual filming is difficult because it's like you're memorizing lines, and obviously you want to avoid having like a line and then a cut, line and a cut, but that's very difficult when you've got a scripted video. Scripted videos do have a purpose though, so I do have several scripted videos, about 5 minutes, 30, and it's good for driving home a specific message where you don't want to get your words wrong. You're very specific about the message you want to get across in those videos, and there's a reason why like the speeches of any like president, prime minister, whatever are always scripted because they're addressing the nation. They can't get their words wrong. So when the message is important, scripting has a time and place. But when it comes to content and being able to consistently make content for the long term, nothing will beat just an unscripted video with your own voice. So that's one thing. That's another thing I've learned. The third thing I've learned is that routine is everything. So you should really stick to the time that you've allotted for your content creation. So for me, that's first thing in the morning. And if I miss that window, then I don't really see where I can make it up later in the day, because inevitably you're going to have other priorities in the day, like your work, your gym workout, things like that. And if you then have to make up that time for content later in the day, you're going to take away from one of those things. So stick to the routine. For me, it's first thing in the morning. Do it every day, because then that way you build up the content bank. Even though I'm not posting every day, I've got content ready, I've got a video ready every day. So they kind of complement each other, can you see? So stick to the routine, you build a content bank. It all just leads to consistent uploads. So, okay, the fourth thing I've learned is that any style can work. So any style of content works. It can be this, sat in front of a camera just talking. It can be gameplay. Like I've seen a format that I really like where a creator plays a game like COD or Minecraft or Rocket League, something like that, and they're on the back end of it, they're just like narrating their own story or whatever they want to talk about. And that those kind of videos do well as well, because they're very consistent in their style. The audience knows what they're getting. They like the tone of the creator, whatever they're talking about. And I've seen channels that do really well just by that. Like they don't even show their face. It's just gameplay and a narration on the back end. And then we all know that the other side works well, where it's the hyper editing, the fast paced and like Mr. Beast style videos. But personally, that's not for me. I don't like that. You see that a lot of the stuff I talk about when it comes to like dopamine management and attention and focus, it's contrary to that style. So I will always lean towards low dopamine, just talking videos, whether it's on camera or with some sort of overlay, but me just talking about something. And the fifth thing that I've learned is exposure therapy is real. So when it comes to making content like this, a lot of people will like the idea of it, but be a bit apprehensive about making it because of the whole, oh, you're putting yourself online for everyone to see. What will people think? What if like your friends or family see it? What will they say? That sort of thing. But it is just another like fear that you can get rid of through exposure. So the more you do it, the more it will just shrink, basically, to the point where I'm sure there'll be a day where I don't even think twice about it. But it's definitely one that can be reduced over time just by doing more of it. Like any fear, like, well, whatever, fear of heights, you can get rid of by exposure. So yeah, just to recap those points, we've got first, have a content bank, building up inventory so that you can keep to a consistent schedule regardless of whether you're available on the day to make content or not. The second is unscripted videos with your spoken voice is the most sustainable form of content. It's the least friction to making content and one that you'll be able to carry on it like forever, basically. The third is that routine is everything. So stick to your allotted time for making the content because you'll run into problems if you don't. The fourth is that any style can work. So pick the style that you like the best because it can work, like they all work. You just need to be consistent with it. And then the fifth is that exposure therapy is real. So any fears that you might have about being on camera, putting yourself online, those erode over time just by doing it more. So I hope that helps you. Have a great day. Take care. And we'll be seeing you consistently.